Well, alrighty, guys. Welcome back to another session of backtesting where I'm going to be backtesting another half month's worth of data. This is episode number 21 of our backtesting streams where we are going from 2022 all the way up until 2026 in one single stretch. If you guys are interested in checking out the rest of this videos, this entire process is going to be recorded and posted on my YouTube. With that being said, let us drop straight into it. So the last session we did was November, came out with 5R on the month, 4.9, same shit. That's over the course of these trades here, and then this is your win rate and stuff. But things that we want to focus on within this session is my entry signature. We'll go over this real quick. This right here in the 15-minute pullback play is realistically just it, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is my entry signature, which is the 15-minute pullback. I'm letting the C2 close now because this is after I went into my live market journals and I reviewed every single one of these trades. Mass majority of my winning trades do come from post 10 a.m. and a lot of the mass majority, or not even a lot, just almost every single one of these, I'm letting the 15-minute C2s close and just trading the C3s. And that is when I'm noticing that I have the best results from. And honestly, it's extremely profitable. So I don't know why I'm not doing that. But most of my trades is that's turning out losers is trading those C2s. And yeah, so I just let the C2 close. And if I do trade the C2s, some of the winners are from the C2s. It's linked to SMT fills, and that's the only times I really can trade those C2 into expansions like that. Confirm the manipulations with a gap, confirm the gap with a 15-minute swing, confirm the swing with the lower time frame V shapes, and then make sure that there's targets still available. And of course, the rest of the filters that we do have in place, don't long lows or highs and shit like that. And then this is your overall model. So these are things that I want to be focusing on, and I'm going to be taking notes on every single one of these. But with that being said, let us drop straight into it. So taking a look here on the daily time frame, let's take a look at the weekly. So on the weekly, we can take notice that we are running into a very relevant high. With us running into this very relevant high, I'm more so looking at external, internal type model now. We do break in SMT and shit that is taking place. We are in bullish order flow, something I don't want to take my eyes off of. But however, we can take notice of this relevant high getting impacted. What can happen after a relevant level gets impacted? A possible consolidation or even a external, internal move. I'm looking more so of external internal move because we are anticipating for that different phase in price. One thing I want to take notice as well is previous day was extremely expansive. So with a previous day extremely expansive like this, my draw on liquidity right now is here. We may be consolidating. I'm not going to front about that. So there is reasonings right now for us to be consolidating, as this is a pretty tight range day. And yeah, it's a pretty tight range day. I'm not going to front there. I'm looking bearish though. I'm definitely looking bearish. Reasoning I'm looking bearish is just because of the fact that I'd like to go external to internal, and right now the asset setting that SMT break is NQ, meaning that it is a lot weaker. So let's see if we can get there. So we got a decoupled move here, whereas YM is heading for these lows. With YM heading for these lows here, I'm just going to be sitting on it. And okay, so those lows was met. Now it's just, okay, so we are decoupled. We are heading up to this high on NQ right now. It's just really now it's just going and deciding which asset is setting the manipulations and which asset is not. So with this being said, we do have SMT fill now, as there is an SMT up here, and it's just now you can take notice that YM is the asset that is not setting the manipulation, as we are blasting through this, showing failure to manipulate, and is going through it. So with this being said, now I would just look at NQ to trade as that lagging asset as long as the phases and price does match it. So we do have this CISD and looking like a V-shaped reversal here. Now I would wait until we have a continuation OB right now, and looks like we're just going to be waiting until that 15-minute closure. Oh, fucking yeah. Well, now that becomes everything that you don't want to see. Waiting to see now if you got like a 15-minute pullback. Yeah, you could trade this 15-minute C2 and trade this C3 closure. 3-minute CISD. Honestly though, This is just a seek and destroy though. I'm not going to trade this, right? Seek and destroy as it does go up and down. After why is it consolidating again as well? Was because of this massive pump up into a relative level that can send price into a consolidation. So I'm assuming here that this is just going to be a consolidation day because of the broadening formation. I can't trade short on YM anymore because YM did already expand quite aggressively and we are too low in the range, looking like we already met that equilibrium standpoint of this range. So that's where we can find a different phase in price, right? So this is where I would just stay out of it. And does that staying out of it help me or hurt me? It looks like it helps me, right? As it is consolidating. So there isn't any trades here for me. So, I mean, fucking there's nothing there. So reasons why we stood out of these trades here. Let's take some notes here, right? Why did we stay out of a trade on that day? So day one. Right, why do we stay out of it is because broadening formation. What else reasons? Previous day expansion equals what? Next day accumulation, right? So we hit that expansion into a relevant level as well. So that's what caused that accumulation. Now with this being a relevant level and this being an accumulation, what am I anticipating now? For this to be an accumulation after hitting a relevant level and looking for an AMD now, right? So this is your accumulation, manipulation, and looking for this to be your okay, so this is actually news. So an 830 manipulation, as well as it is a driver manipulation as well. We can see that we are closing as a 15-minute C3 formation. There is SMT like this as assets is pushing upwards now. I'm going to play the first 3 minutes, see what the first three. So the first three is showing me a lot of bullish pressure. We do have a protected level. We do have a 3-minute CISD away from this. So now it's just trying to get on side with this trade here and looking for a continuation signature. So here we're looking at trading a 30-minute model. If we get a candle closure, let's see which one offers me the candle closure here. I'm not going to trade this because there's 3 more minutes till 10. I'm going to wait for the 10 a.m. closure. We got nice signatures forming up on NQ right now. Honestly, this isn't an invalidation point here on NQ. Why not trade NQ up higher like this? Because then that would be already your 10 a.m. trading away from this 15-minute swing. Outside of this 15-minute gap, we do have SMT fill here. And then that would, honestly, this is ass. Like, yeah, we're going to trade NQ as the asset, just trading that 15-minute C2. So entry signature, right? Let's go through the entry signature. 15-minute pullback. I'm letting the C2 close, and we're trading the C3. So letting the C2 close and trading the C3. Where are we? Sorry, let me move this right next to it. Letting the C3 close, drawing liquidity, which is data highs is still available. Lower time frame V-shape reversal. Looking at the lower time frame V-shape reversal, trading that C3. True invalidation is already formed. This should be able to just rip, right? And then there's your 2R out of it. Boom. All right, and it's just your 15-minute C2 outside of a gap, lower time frame V shape. Gaps is confirmed, right? So gaps is confirming that this is the lowest point of the day. Do we have a gap? Yes. Confirming the gap with a 15-minute swing. Yes. Confirming the 15-minute swing with a lower time frame V shape. Yes. Confirming that with a 10 a.m. push and everything else going up to the draw on liquidity, which is these highs here. So the asset that is more bullish obviously is going to be considered YM, and the reasoning why it's more bullish is just with this SMT fill, as it's showing us that, and it's also a SMT fill and a PSP. So you're trading that C2 and then trading the C3. The problem with this is I don't trust any of these lows. I guess a good closure would have been this guy. This guy right here would have been a pretty good closure, as that's a full CISD there, and then you could long this up to 2R if you have this right there. Let's see if you get this one now. If you chose YM, stops would be at break even already. Honestly, you're not holding this bitch open like for that long. And then there's your 2R on that as well. So again, higher time frame, universal models, accumulation. I read this as your accumulation, manipulation, looking for the distribution. 830 manipulates, 930 reverses price, which that's exactly what happened. And then you want to go and long this up to at minimal data highs, or even just daily opening price, which that is just forming your open low profile of that daily candle, trading from internal range to external range, right? So daily gap pressing. I was reading YM as more weaker because of the fact that it dug a lot deeper, but nonetheless it was YM that was more stronger, right? So with that being said, moving forward from here, go to next day's open. Let me drink some water real quick. So now what am I reading? I'm reading a daily C2, internal range, external range, low resistance up top, 7-hour chart telling me daily open low, no higher day form of anything of true significancy, no higher day form of anything of true significancy. Kind of don't have, I mean, I guess so. We do have an accumulation, a manipulation of these highs, and we are expanding away from it. Right now there is a possibility that this becomes your draw, as it looks like very bearish structure, as this gap here is holding price down to the downside, and that is what actually pushes us down. And we are expanding away right now off of this manipulation and expanding lower. So right now the profile is kind of chopped in terms of like wanting to go higher. I would like to go higher, but it looks like we're going lower to this draw first prior to going higher. Obviously we want to go and trade up to these failures, but in order to get up to those failures, I would like to trade down lower first. There is a manipulation here, as this low has already been taken out, so there is SMT, but asset that did take out that low is not reversing price. So if 930 fails to reverse price here, then that means that NQ can actually go and reach that same low as that lagging asset logic. We are taking place right now, so we can see 930 is reversing price here. So with 930 reversing price as it is, I'm going to be waiting for this 15-minute C2's closure. There's your, or actually asset setting this manipulation is not reversing price, as it is still consolidating here. So if the asset setting the manipulation is not going to reverse price here, then that means we can trade down lower. Okay, so right now we can see YM is trading lower, telling me that YM is not going higher, meaning that SMT is considered false here. And I'm looking for a 15-minute swing formation in order to trade away from there. We do not have a 15-minute swing. However, we do have a 30-minute swing. So with this being a 30-minute swing outside of this gap now, I can go and trade a 30-minute C3. So if we have a lower time frame V-shape reversal, I don't like these highs necessarily, but if I get a continuation OB away from here now, or just going straight rip, yeah, I don't really want to put my stop losses at those highs specifically. So now with price does ripping down, it impacts this level. Now we have those failure swings still up at top, and now we are SMT breaking. So with this SMT break, I would wait to see if we can get a 15-minute swing formation up to the upside here. Okay, so here would be your 15-minute swing formation up to the upside, forming the lowest point of the day. Market is reversing price on that weaker asset, as there is a strength getting switched into this weaker assets, with an SMT forming this low with all of that failure swings that's located up top. Wait for the 15-minute closure. So once you get this 15-minute closure, I'm looking at an accumulation manipulation, looking for the distribution back up to the upside. Now I'm seeing this as a CISD. With this CISD here, I'm looking for a continuation OB now. Here's your push down, looking for the push higher. Ooh, ugly ass wick, you don't want to participate in that, here's your entry. Boom. So strong full body closure, continuation OB, draw for 2R, 15-minute C2, trading that 15-minute C3, 30-minute C2, trading the 30-minute C3, and this should just go and push us upwards to the upside. All right, SMT break, failure swings up top, draw on liquidity. I'll go break even as soon as you cross that, and then press this upwards, or just go straight to stop loss. Well, that's fucked up. Fuck. Well, yeah, that's basically that. Damn. So there's an SMT here, as YM has taken this high. So unfortunate. So fucking unfortunate, right? Damn. Fuck me, huh? So wrong draw on liquidity. Obviously, we're not trading up to those failure swings and just trading down to the abyss. I don't know where we're going down there, but obviously this V shape was not an accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So the V shape was false. This is a false V shape. I don't know why it's a false V shape. Couldn't tell you why this wouldn't be a continuation signature as well. I don't like this first wick here. But I didn't get minded by it once we had that stronger full body closures above. That should have at least went to those equal highs that is located right here. Obviously not. I don't see a reasoning why this trade should have failed. We had SMT break. Logic asset that's weaker does V shape up higher. Failure swings above. Daily price opens up low. Open up high, low. We did have gaps getting fucking inverse pretty much here. We just bearish. Why was we bearish? Not entirely sure, right? I was looking at a daily C2, looking at trying to go and trade a daily C3. Daily price did open low, looking for the high close, looking like we was just extremely bearish on the day. So reasonings why we was bearish, not entirely sure. Maybe there was a possibility that this SMT that's located here is what forced price down to the downside, as the asset setting that manipulation here is reversing price and was not reversing off of these lows. I honestly thought that I really don't trade away from those failure swings like that. It's not really my style. So I mean, unless you trade away from them, to go ahead and trade away from them, that's not really my thing. I don't like to trade away from them, right? Looking now at this new day, honestly, small range day like this is equal to what? Most likely a consolidation to me. I mean, honestly, you could trade this lower, right? So you have that manipulation in that 6 a.m. candle. Asset that is setting this manipulation here with that SMT is consolidating. We do have the manipulation right there at that 7 a.m. looking for 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to press us downwards. We do have a 15-minute C2 that's already framed. Here, not really outside of a gap, but I mean, yes, it is consolidating. We have these gaps associated like that. Accumulation lows here. So I mean, you could trade lower to break those SMTs and those failure swings that's located below. Would wait though, because we do impact this relevant level. With the impact of this relevant level already, I mean, you could trade like that, you know what I mean? But I always wait 3 minutes anyway. So waiting for that continuation signature, or just go straight through the draws. Nice. So with this draws getting straight ran through here, I would wait until we get like a 15-minute pullback. And honestly, I don't even know if I would want to go and trade lower anymore. I don't think I would want to trade at all anymore. Really, there's just no draws on liquidity anymore, right? So yeah, there's really nothing here after that. There's no draw on liquidity. It's just a straight fall here. I mean, I guess you could say this 15-minute pullback right there, which isn't even a 3-minute CISD though. So, and then you'd be at the lowest point of the day. So it just straight up expanded. Really nothing there for me. Yeah, I was actually really, I would just wake up and go back to sleep after that. Right. So when it takes all the draws on liquidity like that, then there's just really nothing for me to do. Can't really go and be like, oh, this and nah, bro. There's literally nothing for me to do, dog. Like, we do have further draws here. This is a Wednesday. I'm looking external, internal type models. Asia does go, London expands into this low already, and we are seeing a pretty sharp reaction off of it going external to internal. One thing I can take notice, however, is the way that London does have that fucking expansion from 2 o'clock. I may not be trading just because an overnight expansion usually means that there's going to be a shitty New York session. I'm not going to front there, right? Ideally, this is a very, very large overnight expansion. Yes, there's a V shape, but with a very large overnight expansion here like this of 200 points into the relevant level, we can see a New York accumulation or just rip straight up higher. So we can take notice that right now the V shape is taking in full effect and we do rip up higher. We are sweeping out the highest point of this day. So there is SMT here. Not really SMT. They're both kind of impacting it. So I really can't trade anything right now because I trade I got to wait. Do I want to trade lower? Not really. Not really, because we already impacted the relevant level. There's no more reason for me to trade lower unless we're going back to the lowest point of the day, which this doesn't make sense to me. There's equal lows here on YM. So, I mean, yes, the phases and price support it. Very deep retracement, though. Not something I want to go and participate in anymore. Phases and price does support it here. We have a 15-minute sweep C2. And this is setting the high of that 10 a.m. candle with this V-shaped reversal like that. I'm not going to enter it because I wait for the C2's closure. And then now we can take notice of, we have to wait for the C2's closure. Why? Because it's only 3 more minutes until it's 9. You know what I mean? We still got fucking hella time, bro. So with that being said, you could wait for this new 15 closure, trading this 15-minute C2 now and wait for the C2's closure. Not a very bearish closure, so just now becomes what? Consolidation. Why is it consolidating? Because London has already expanded. Now this becomes seek and destroy. Now we're just not going to do anything except fucking stay right here. Why? Because after major heavy expansion, we hit a relative level. What does the day want to do? Accumulate. So with that being said, now we're just within this accumulation range and we really wouldn't want to trade anything there. And those are my consolidation fucking, holy shit, consolidation filters, right? So with that being said, waiting it out. So after relevant levels, when can we find those accumulation days? After previous days expansions, right? I have this written down. Broadening formations or relevant levels reached on the daily type prime frame if we don't support that expansion back up higher, which we don't, right? This weekly candle is fucking extremely bearish, so there is no reason for us to go lower. However, there is more reasons for us to go higher as we are wanting to go internal to external. So we have this accumulation day looking like we're manipulating out into internal now, and we want to see how does this high react. Maybe we can trade back down lower, back down to external, going from internal to external range, as this could be setting the high of that accumulation, manipulation, distribution back down into the range. Daily price does open high. There's no lower day set with anything of true significancy, but we are setting the higher day with a truly significant tap into a relevant level, where now we want to study what does price do at this level, and we can obviously see that it is reversing off of it. We do not have like a 30-minute model or anything like that. We are trading within not really anything really. Fuck. Let's see if this asset here is gonna go and displace lower. So we do have that displacement lower here, and now we can take notice that price is very bearish. So with this very bearish price, and now we're very bullish. What the fuck are we doing? Okay, very whipsaw type action here. I'm not really trying to trade up higher because there's nothing to trade up higher to. So I'm more so looking at trading to all of these failure swings, which is not getting targeted right now. So I'm waiting to see if we can get a 15-minute swing formation here. We do have this 15-minute swing formation here, setting the high of that 10 a.m. candle. And now this is where you would zoom in on the 3-minute time frame, match it with that V-shaped reversal, which we kind of do have. And then your continuation signature, which this is not really a continuation signature. What is this? A consolidation. So you would just fucking dip out on that. Right. Why is this consolidating? Because it taps us into a relevant level without a V-shaped signature, and then this entire thing becomes a consolidation as it wants to go higher, but there's no reason to go higher. It wants to go lower, but now we're really out of time at 11 o'clock in the afternoon after we attack a relevant level with no V-shaped signatures. This is just a consolidation signature. So there wouldn't be any trades there, and it would be another consolidation day. Let me be right back. I gotta use the restroom real quick. All right, cool. Yeah, that's basically that. I don't remember where we left off on that one, right? So taking a look here, possible return back up to data highs. Let's see what it does though. See what it looks like. Taking a look here on the daily time frame, in itself, looking like an internal external. Okay, so finally it does look like we do want to go ahead and trade down to these lows as we are sweeping out these highs here, trading from internal the range to external. This is a Friday, so I'm not entirely sure if we want to trade back down to set new lows of weeks, and we may be just waiting for Monday to have that open high low close continuation. So that is something I am taking into consideration, is that this is a Friday leading up into the weekend. I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. That part doesn't matter, right? I was looking at SMTs and shit, but that's not really something that I'm paying attention to right now. So with that being said, I want to take those things into consideration, that this is a Friday, which we could just be trading from this internal range here and then trading back up higher, as this could be an 830 manipulation lower for us to trade up higher. So these are all little things that I want to take in consideration, as there actually is this high here that is a possible draw on liquidity if we are going from external to internal. Being that it is Friday and I don't want to trade down lower to create new lows of weeks, I would more so want to trade back up to those data highs, as we have been in kind of a bullish order flow where we are failing to manipulate this high and getting sent into an accumulation. How do we want to leave an accumulation? Is by manipulation, and then we want to go and distribute back up higher. My draw on liquidity right now, if I wanted to actually go lower, I would like to go and sweep out this high here, and that's kind of why I would be more leaning on the bullish end of things. It's just I don't like to set new lows of weeks on Fridays. It just doesn't make sense to me, right? Especially if we have a data wick like this, your accumulation, your manipulation, and looking for the distribution back up, 830 manipulation, and we're looking for that 930 to press us upwards to the upside. So here's your 15-minute C2, looking to trade a 15-minute C3. Wait for this 15 to close here. With this 15-minute closure, we can take notice that NQ or YM is a lot stronger based off of the SMT direction. And now with that 15-minute closure like this, we have a protected level. and a continuation OB. I will enter right here as we do have a protected level already, and then we'll bring it up to 2R. I'm going to pull it down just a little bit more just because I can't really fucking do that, right? And then place this order like that. Got equal highs above us too as well. Tapped in and stopped out. Fuck. Well, fuck me, bro. What the fuck was this SMT for if it's not gonna fucking hold? Holy shit. Take this one now. Fuck, dude. That's fucking clowning. Okay, so this one is pushing 15-minute C2. Could have traded the 15-minute C3, but honestly, I just traded this OB like this. Yo, this is so bad, bro. What the fuck? This is fucking unrealistic, dude. I'm going to move stops to break even just because it's 1600 on a Friday. Yeah, we're out of break even. Well, my draw on liquidity was wrong. Obviously, this SMT low was not valid. You would assume that it already fucking is continuing, but with the strong 15-minute closure, 15-minute OB, 15-minute swing, trading that 15-minute C2, now trading the 15-minute C3, you would assume that this 15-minute C3 would go upwards towards those draws on liquidity, which is equal highs located above me. But obviously, it's just another accumulation day. So next day's open. So it just kind of accumulated here and then dumped at 1800. So, but looking like my bias was just wrong there. We wasn't going up to data highs. Data highs is not in the question. So right now it's just within this fucking massive dailies range though. Like I'm not gonna go and say, oh, it's not. You know what I mean? Because it definitely is. Doesn't look like it's going anywhere right now. Yeah, it's just not going anywhere, realistically speaking. We got all of these lows, but we're just not delivering to it. So it's kind of ass. We do have a daily open high right now, which is pretty cool. If we wanted to trade down lower to the lowest point of the day, which doesn't really have anything of true significance forming it. But yeah, there's so much low resistance liquidity below me that there is a bunch of reasonings for us to go down lower. 6 a.m. looks like it could be setting the high of day. We'd want to see 9:30 go in reverse price. And this is actually pretty valid right now. We are reversing price here. Just don't have a 15-minute swing formation to trade away from. We have obvious draws on liquidity. So I'm just going to wait for a 15-minute swing. Here would be like your 15-minute C2. This would be your 15-minute C2. Looking at this as an SMT from the top side, and now we are. I'm still wanting to go down to these lows, right? It's just impossible to trade away from those lows. So looking at that 15-minute swing formation, looking for a V-shaped reversal. I can't trade away from all of these highs. I'd much rather see all of those highs get impacted before trading away from it. And we end up in another consolidation day. So with that being said, just fucking trading away from fake lows of days, and we're just within this we're within this big ass range here, right? So with us being within this big ass range, we are not going anywhere. So it's just consolidation day after consolidation day, and then just another consolidation day again and again and again. So here's your finally break out of this range. Finally, massive expansion in this day. I don't know why. Probably like a CPI probably. So this is CPI pushing us out, really failing to manipulate these highs and just really boosting up all the way through. In order to participate in this, I would honestly be looking long, just because there's no reason. Like, it's going to be hard for us to trade anything short here. So we'll wait for that 15-minute swing formation at the lows in order to get on side with something here. So you can see that we're obviously bearish now. I'm going to wait for a 15-minute continuation OB in order to get on side with this, or a 15-minute model. So I was wrong on us being bullish here. I was not bearish, and that just reversed price. Realistically speaking, I wasn't really bearish. So I mean, the best option would have been this 10 a.m. open high low close, but no 15-minute swing, no 30-minute C2 as well. It just was a pump back downwards. So really nothing there for me. Again, yeah, I'm just gonna not trade that. Simple as that, right? I mean, obviously you could have tried to get on side with this 11:45 move from 11:30 C2, your first C2 from 11:30, and then you trade the 45 downwards. But nonetheless, I'm not trading. I'm not at the charts at 11:45. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, massive expansions in both ways. Now you're within this accumulated. What the fuck, dude? Holy fucking ever! I don't know. Yo, this is fucking annoying now. I don't even want to do this shit anymore. Okay, so maybe we can be bearish here. Manipulation, distribution, internal, external, V-shape reversal. All of these lows is going to be considered my draw on liquidity. Wanting to see a manipulation up higher first, but just to give me a solid protected high. So this would be your manipulation up higher. Now looking for a 15-minute. Okay, so actually all of these highs are getting manipulated up top. So we'll see after these highs get impacted. Now waiting for the 15-minute swing to the downside, which is never given. So it looks like our draw on liquidity is going to be higher again. Failing to manipulate that high equals higher prices. Looking for a 15-minute swing to the upside now to trade up higher. Here's a 15-minute swing to the upside. With this 15-minute swing up to the upside now, this is where you could trade a 15-minute C3. Higher, we do have a V-shaped reversal, CISD, accumulation, manipulation, looking for that distribution up to that next draw on liquidity as we are failing to manipulate this high, which means we should be able to go to the next draws on liquidity, which is this next one over. All right. Fuck, I was supposed to be a break even. Well, see if we can get it to break even. I'm out. This is an accumulation, right? There's your out and stopped out of break even there. This just becomes accumulation and we don't really want to participate in that again. So realistically speaking, I mean, I was bearish coming into the day, anticipating this to be considered my high day as it swept, pressed down, wanting to see a manipulation of here to then trade down to all of this low resistance. Obviously, following a V-shaped reversal, accumulation, manipulate here, expansion, retracement, expansion, but that didn't happen. So that would honestly be the wrong draw on liquidity again. So, oh, fuck me, yeah. This is fucking insane. And then we do go down just later on in the afternoon around 1400 when it is what, FOMC. Yeah, so with that being said there, expansion, failure to manipulate, looking for lower prices to the next draws on liquidity, which is all of those lows that's located there. All assets is expanding lower. Impact of a relevant level, we can anticipate a different phase. The different phase does pass. We do have an OB anticipating for this high to remain. Don't really want to see that high form anymore. And just looking at this in general, we have an Asia and London expansion into a very relevant level. What does that mean for New York? Most likely New York is going to stay right here as a accumulation day. Okay, so price actually does rip down lower. Then again, it's like I can't even trade anything fucking here anyway. Because we're at the lowest point of the day, and I don't trade at lowest points of days like this. I trade 2 lowest points of days, so there really isn't anything for me. And 10 a.m. opens all the way at the bottom of this range, which I cannot trade when I am this low in the range. So with me being this low in the range, as price has expanded drastically prior to my entry, I wouldn't be able to get on side with anything here, as there is this accumulation and this 930 closure like that, just not for me. Being that we are just super low in the range, and I'm just not trying to jump in out of driver entry at the bottom of 500 point fucking day. You know what I mean? Fuck, dude. Not trying to jump in at the bottom of a 370 point day, and we're already at the draws on liquidity. Not really my style. Yeah, that's that, bro. Fuck, dude. This is fucked up. This is actually like genuinely annoying me. I don't even want to do this shit anymore. I fuck, dude. So massive expansion day. What happens after a massive expansion day into a relevant level? Another fucking accumulation day. No targets. I'm not gonna fucking trade that, bro. You're fucking tripping. Maybe could have traded YM to that next draw in liquidity, but nonetheless, bro, it's just gonna be ass, dog. Not entirely that bad, but then again, you also got to try and trade away from equal highs. So you're framing away from these equal highs like that. Fuck that. You're tripping, bro. You're fucking tripping. Maybe you could have. Nah, not even. Just after a relevant level has been impacted. YM already expands prior to fucking New York Open. We get sent into a different phase in price here. Then honestly, you could have traded YM. Yeah, you could have traded YM 15-minute C2, waiting for 15-minute C3 to press us down to these lows here. That's just your AMD. And then because we are already bearish on the day, you can trade this 10 a.m. CISD like that, as this can be your stop loss, and then you can shoot this for 2R. Yeah, that would have actually been not that bad here. I'm just not gonna fucking entertain me trying to go and trade after relevant levels has been impacted and the previous day has already expanded, just because in my rule books it says that that's when we can anticipate for accumulation days, right? And what does it do? Realistically, it doesn't fucking do anything. It literally stays right here. It's a bearish day, whatever. So we have that open high now. With this open high, we can take notice of a London reversal. With that London reversal, we can see 6 a.m. is already pushing. We have all of this low resistance below me. Now we actually have a profile I can trade within. We have that daily open high low close. I'm gonna wait to see, do we have gaps? Gaps is holding right now. With these gaps holding price down to the downside, I'm anticipating for it to continue. I always play the first 3 minutes, and there's your first 3 minutes, which confirms that gap. Honestly, I can't trade right now because that first 3 minutes has already ripped. We do tap us into relevant levels, looking for a failure to manipulate, a push upwards, and then a re-push downwards, and then we're already at the draw on liquidity. So now there is no trades for me because we already impact that draw on liquidity. Waiting to see if I can trade the lagging asset now, as I would like to still remain bearish. Looking for a 15-minute swing formation on YM in order to get on side with this. So here's your 15-minute swing formation on YM. There's your 15-minute closure. 3-minute V shape, 3-minute CISD located here. You can trade this on YM as that lagging asset logic to go and trade this down to those same lows to meet up with where NQ is, as this can be considered your draw on liquidity for that 15-minute continuation, as NQ is failing to manipulate, and this should just rip us straight down lower. Okay, stops now goes to break even here. I'm not going to shoot for 4R, obviously. We're just going to go for 2R on that lagging asset logic. And then there's your 2R out of it, right? And YM should be able to displace lower. Finally, a fucking profile. Right, and then that'd be our lagging asset logic to go and meet up with where NQ is, and NQ is gonna just keep falling. So that's cool. There's your 4R out of it, right? Yeah, very weird. I wanted to jump in on NQ, but NQ was a driver play, and then we impact this level. The moment that we impact this level, I'm looking for YM to form some manipulations and then form this 15-minute model. Then we could trade that lagging asset down to the exact same lows. That's basically all I'm trying to do, right? And then you have that lower time frame V shape. I can say that this is a little sus, but we are in bearish order flow. So with us being in bearish order flow, it's bound to happen where we do leave these highs kind of often too. I'm not even going to lie to you. Right, and then that would be your flush there. So on to the next day. So taking a look here, daily time frame, very expansive right now. We do have a Asia kind of expands lower, and right now we're making a recovery higher, kind of accumulating here on YM. So not really something that I would say I want to trade. In terms of profile, this shit is chopped. It's just a seek and destroy now, so not something I really want to participate in if we're trading within YM, as YM does have this open low high low. That's not exactly how we want to trade. We want to see an open high, boom, accumulate, and want to see the press downwards here. If we can get the press downwards, that'd be a lot better, as this is my draw on liquidity. Maybe YM can go and manipulate out this high, or it actually did. So with the manipulation of this high here, we'd want to see YM actually reverse price, so that validates the SMT. If YM does not reverse and it stays accumulating like this, we can actually trade NQ up higher, as this is your accumulation manipulation. This is your assumed low day when we want to go and break the SMT that is located above us, waiting for this 15-minute C2 closure. So the 15-minute C2 closure does not take place, and it does look like we are actually going to remain bearish here. Oh, there's your 15-minute C2 closure, as we are now switching strengths into NQ, as NQ does sweep out this level and then gives me an SMT like that, and we are boosting upwards with this 15-minute C2 closure, which is an ideal closure. There is a V-shaped reversal here. I'm not going to trade it now because of the fact that I don't have a stop location kind of far away for the stop location to take place. I'll be looking for a continuation OB in order to get on side with this, and this would be considered your continuation OB, as we do have that 10 a.m. open low high close type profile. This is just one of those trades where I can hold it open to 2R, and the break even is like fucking guaranteed, you know what I mean? Then your stop loss can go to break even, and you can just hold it for 2R just to see if this is an actual true open low high close and we want to expand past it, which we don't. And that's basically the trade there for that break even trade, right? But yeah, I just couldn't jump in because I gotta wait for the C2 closure, and then yeah, away from that it just kept going. So moving on to the next, go to next day's open. So looking here, daily C2, kind of a retracement day, internal, looking for external. Highs of the day, not really forming anything. Asset setting the manipulations, not really reversing. YM obviously going up to this highs, failure to manipulate equals higher prices. We are quite bullish here on YM. Let's see if I can get on side with a YM long up to this obvious draw on liquidity. We do formulate these gaps that we'd like to see hold price up to the upside. 15-minute swings will go and confirm these gaps. We do have an accumulation, looking at this as a manipulation. 3-minute already fucking pushing. Okay, so the first 3 minutes goes by. Now we'd have to wait for the 15-minute closure here. Here's a 15-minute C2, 3-minute CISD, V-shape reversal, very strong closure. Long this up to that draw on liquidity, which is up there. Placing this order like this. Clear invalidation. Yeah, we're good. Tapped in, and this should just rip straight higher. Stops goes to break even, as we are closing above this high now. And then there's your 2R out of it, right? So, cool. Very obvious draws, and very strength is in YM. Again, what is this? A 1 hour gap fill. Swing formations on the 15. Confirm the gap. Let this 15 close. When that 15 does close, 10 a.m. very strong closure above us now. with that very strong closure, we can just go and fucking rip that straight up to the upside, trading that 15-minute C3, 15-minute C3, or this is a 15-minute C4, but very strong closure up to the upside, showing me intention for us to go up higher. That's basically all this is. Why not trade NQ? NQ is within the consolidation range, as it is not very bullish, as YM is showing us the failure to manipulate and is a lot more bullish than where NQ is just not doing anything, right? So that's kind of why we chose fucking this guy instead. And that becomes and that's the ending of that session, because now it's the 21st of December. I don't trade after the 21st. I don't even trade after the 20th, but kind of just forgot where we were, right? Probably because I was getting clapped. So I wanted to at least end it off with a dub. But other than that, yeah, that's basically that session. Came out with 4R on the month of December, which is not entirely bad, not entirely good either. Fucking hella just it was just bad price action, really. Mass majority of days was consolidation days where I trade, and I'm avoiding a lot of the consolidation days, so it's kind of, you know what I mean? I would say even better that we are not getting chopped up in consolidation days and having to fight to survive. So that's good. Just not a lot of trades really being taken here, which is fine. But other than that, I'm gonna take a break. It's been an hour of a session, and I don't know. December is kind of hard month anyway. So, but other than that, I'm gonna log off, and I will catch you guys in the next session. Peace.